Hi, I'm Charlie Kidder. We're here at the J.C. Ralston Arboretum. Today we're going to talk about agaves for the triangle gardener. Now, what are agaves? They're not cacti, they're succulents, and they're actually related to hostas, which surprises a lot of people. And they look like aloes, but they're not related to them either. Now, there are probably about 200, 300 species of agaves. We can grow several dozen here in the triangle, and we'll talk about how to do that. One thing that's critical for an agave is good drainage, and that's why we have many of our agaves here on built-up berms with permatil in the soil to provide that excellent drainage they need. They don't really insist on great drainage in the summer when they're actually happy to have some more water, but they don't like to be wet in the winter, so that's why you have to give them great drainage. Now, one of our agaves that I personally like a lot is agave ovatifolia. Nice gray-green leaves, sort of a touch of burgundy or purple, and just a great all-around plant. And it's very happy here in our wet climate, one of the better ones for this area. Now, later we'll talk about agaves in flowering, because you don't grow them for the flowers, you grow them for that foliage and a dramatic look. But we'll look at flowers in a bit. Now let's take a look at another agave we have further down in the xeric garden. Now this is agave salmiana, which is sometimes known as pulque agave, which gives you a little clue as to what a lot of agaves are used for. Pulque and tequila, they're also used for rope. Very versatile plant. We found that this one does very well here, even down here in unamended clay. It's been successful for several years. One thing about agaves, even though they flower and die, they have what we call offsets. So these are actually offsets of a larger plant that used to be here and flowered. And you can see fairly good sized plants here, also smaller ones that are younger offsets. They'll keep living for several years. Eventually, after 10 or 15 years, they'll flower and die. Now, most agaves have prickly spines on the edge, which are often kind of burgundy or purple. And they also have an interesting feature on the leaves. They have the imprint of the younger leaves, which are smushed up against them before they unfolded. And it's a nice textural quality that adds a little sculpture to your garden. So that's agave salmiana. Now we'll look at agave lofantha. This is agave lofantha. Some people might like it because it's a little bit smaller than some of the agaves we looked at. Only gets to maybe like a foot tall. It's got a light green, sort of olive green color, and a little bit of a yellow stripe down the center if you use your imagination. Some cultivars of this have even a better yellow stripe than others. And this is a very good illustration of offsets or pups in agaves. The older agave was right there, flowered and died. All these are offsets. So this is the older one, bigger, younger, smaller ones further out there. And again, agave lofantha is a very good one if you want to cover a lot of territory. It can almost be a ground cover, and it's very happy in our climate if you give it that good drainage. That's agave lofantha. This is agave scabra. It has a very rough or scabrous texture, sort of like shark skin. Also a nice blue-green gray foliage color. You look at the spines, they're kind of a purplish color. Very nice dramatic texture to this plant. You also see many of the offsets we've talked about. Smaller plants out here, all are offspring of this, and then you'll flower and die, but they'll live. So now we're going to take a look at the plant that's actually in flower. We're looking at agave scabra again. This is the same plant we just looked at, but this one's flowering. Back in April, it started shooting up this humongous flower stalk, which is probably a good 12 to 15 feet tall. You see lots of yellow flowers at the top. The bees just love it. Ants are crawling up this stalk. And this is the end of the agave's life. This is its big show going out. The base plant will die, but the offsets will continue. So this is the big moment of drama for the agave. So as we've seen, agaves are great plants for gardens in North Carolina. Give them good drainage. They'll get through the winter just fine, and they'll love our hot summers. We've got about 60 varieties you can grow here. If you want to see them, come out to the J.C. Ralston Arboretum. They're currently in bloom, some of them, and you'll enjoy them. This is Charlie Kidder for the Triangle Gardener.